Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Jolanda and thank you for joining me today. If you like yarn, if you like knitting, crochet, any of the fiber related crafts, then you're here at the right channel. And so thank you very much for checking me out. Today I want to talk about everything I have been up to the last week or so. And today it's mostly knitting. So, as usual, we start with what I'm wearing today. The shawl is an old favorite. I like to wear it around my neck because it is quite cold here. This is the Easy Now shawl by Mirjam Molenbeek. I just knitted this for her. And I'm wearing the Halu, which is a pattern from Caitlin Hunter. And I absolutely love it. All the bubbles, the lace, the neckline is interesting. I knitted this out of Drops Charisma and I think it's holding up nicely. Of course, it has a little bit of pilling because this is 100% wool, but this is really an absolutely lovely sweater. Really like it. I enjoyed knitting it and I wear it quite often. So today it is Monday, the 2nd of February, and this is a special day for me because it's my son's birthday. But it's also a strange day today because he is not home the first time in his 22 years. He is out on holiday on his own in the UK. Uh, it's very exciting and it's absolutely more exciting for me than it is for him. But he is doing great and I'm really proud of him. He's turning 22 today. So wonderful, my youngest son, Patrick. Um, there are a few things I want to talk about today. We just finished the 12 cast-ons of 2026. That was a cast-on hosted by Angela from the Yarn and Yarn podcast. Her link is down below if you want to check it out. The cast-on party has ended on the 31st of January. So I would like to do a little roundup how much I have casted on and what I have finished, how things are looking right now. So I made it until cast on number 10, and that was the Enjoy Flowers. So far, I casted on, my first cast on was the Raglano, and that I made out of hand spun. I finished it. I did three pot holders. I finished all three of them. I made a Twilight Cowl out of Deep Stash, and I finished that. The hooded scarf, you can see everything in episodes before this one. The hooded scarf, yes, I finished that also. Then there's the granny stripe shawl. I think you can see it here in screen. And that is also finished. That was a pattern from the crochet object. I was planning to make one sock tube every month. So that is something that it will be ongoing, but I finished my first one. Then number 9 was knitting up face cloth. So we are going into the first finished object because here they are. I finished them all. It was a bag of wool, cotton acrylic, and there were 6 skeins in there. So I made 6 washcloth, face cloth, and 3 little ones, little scrubbies for either face or surroundings. This is a very, very easy pattern based on the Monday morning pot holder from Drops Design. I just changed it a little bit. I cast it on 32 stitches. I slipped the first stitch to make it a nice slip stitch edging on both sides. And I knitted garter stitch just as they became square, like you fold it in like this, and when the sides are matching up I would bind off. So of those 6 50 grams balls I got 6 face cloth, which are very squishy and soft because their yarn was held triple, and 3 little scrubbies. So I am so pleased, and that is a object completely finished. So the last one was the Enjoy Flowers by Knitting for Breakfast. and I forgot to grab it, but I will do it in a sec. And that was for this year. I had 10 cast-ons. I did cast on another project, but it was only a swatch, and I thought 10 would be a wonderful number, and we will leave it at that. So I have picked out an old UFO, unfinished object, that was lingering for a little bit because I was not so very sure on how to proceed. The original pattern had sleeves that were elbow length. Oh, so the original pattern had sleeves that were elbow length, and I was not so sure I wanted to do this. So this is the pattern Wild Roses by Knitting for Breakfast. I knit a lot of her patterns because I like them. They are very simple, but they are constructed in a way they look very intricate. So I am quite far along. The last time I showed it to you, I was here looking at working at this lace panel, and then I picked it up a few days ago, and I thought I can make the sleeves just as the body. The whole, after the original lace, I just did stocking stitch, and then the ends of the sleeve I will treat in the same way as the bottom of the sweater is treated. So I'm knitting this out of Holst Garn tights in a maroon colorway. So this is a wool and silk blend, and the fabric is quite airy and super light. So I heard a lot about the Holst Garn. It has still spinning oil in there, and it will bloom after washing. So I'm very interested to see what will happen. Yeah, it's really light. It also has a lot of meterage on a 50-gram ball. So yes, I'm working on the lace part. Like I said, it will be the same as the bottom here, and then one sleeve to go, and then we can call this finished. Yes, it's really nice. It has some very simple lace, and sometimes it will be repeated only once, and then it looks like here, and here it is just repeated repeatedly, and you get a whole different effect. So this is the Wild Roses by Knitting for Breakfast, and I will pick up the other project right now. So yes, the Enjoy Flowers. Yes, they have a lot of names that are related to gardens, flowers, and also I have come quite far. So separated for the sleeves, and there was still a little patterning over here. And as I explained the last time, the body and the sleeves will just be in this taupe color. Originally, you take one strand of color 1 and one strand of color 2, and you get a little bit of marbling. But I chose to do it differently because I think it will be a little bit too much. So yes, that is just plain knitting now, which is nice and very relaxing. So yes, I have no problem with stocking stitch, but I also would like a little bit of color work. So this combines the two of them. Yes, this is fully knitted in 2 strands held together. So yeah, it's looking nice, right? I really like it. Very interesting. So this week I did not record any close-ups or anything. This will just be a podcast where I talk about everything like regular, because it was an emotional week and I did not have any brain space to do anything out of the ordinary. So I'm sorry for that. Hopefully next week there will be a little bit of close-ups of me knitting, which seems to be a relaxing thing for you all, and I very much appreciate that. All right, I have only one other finished object, not finished. It's in my dreams. It's not finished. I started a new object, and it is a test knit for Inge's Knitting Lab. I talked a little bit about it last week. I made a beautiful cage swatch out of my hand spun, but so I already thought this is not ideal. This is a very form-fitted sweater, and a regular yarn is not the best choice for something like that, because you really want to maintain the stitch count. And yeah, I was a little bit frustrated. I tried everything. I did not meet the gauge. And if I did meet the gauge, I completely could understand the vision she had for the yarn. She wanted a more rustic yarn, and I did not really have that. At least not. She wanted non-superwash yarn because it holds its form better. So I was close on giving up. I was close on ordering yarn, but I really, really did not want to do that. So again, I looked at what I had. There was one yarn that was very suitable, but the amount I had was not really enough. It might be enough, but you really don't want to do a test knit where you're not sure you have enough. So I looked at my project pages. I looked at the projects I already made with the same yarn, and I can show you the yarn. This is Highland worsted, and this was originally yarn from how is it, Craftsy, and it changed names after that. They had yarn at some point, and this is Cloudborn Highland worsted. So yes, this is non-superwash yarn, and I did not even realize it because I always wash these sweaters also in the washing machine on the wool cycle. So this I had 5 skeins of, and the two sweaters I knitted out of this same yarn were both 400 grams. So I talked to the designer, and she said, I think 500 will be enough. And I have one full skein for a little contrast that will be around the neckline. It will be I think it's a Latvian braid, but something similar at least. And that only took like 15 grams, and I have 100. So we decided, worst case scenario, I could do the ribbing in the contrasting color. But I think we will be fine since it is just a plain stockinette stitch sweater. I really hope I have enough of the 500 grams, but I think it's quite confident that it will be enough. So yes, I will use these two, and I must honestly say I'm not super excited about the colors, but I am super excited about a pattern that is yeah, so detailed, so step by step, and even measuring yourself, she completely helps you with every step. If something looks off, she will contact you and say, try to measure it again. I had to cross back measurement. It's very difficult to do on your own. So she helped me. She was very patient, and I can only imagine how much time she invests in doing this. So how this works, you first do your measurements, you do your gauge swatch, you upload it to Ravelry, and then she can see that you did the requirements. You get the first part of the pattern. We knit it up, you sent another picture, and now I just received block B. So I will be working on that today. There is no rush, and everyone works on his own time frame. So you just only get the next part if you follow the first correctly, and at some point you have to try it on, you have to steam block it, and if everything looks right, you can continue for the next part. So this is a sweater in the construction I like the most because it has the look of the set-in sleeve, which means it fits very nicely at the shoulders. She also wants to pick the size, that you pick the size based upon your shoulders. Then you work the first block, which is kind of this. So it's just the upper part. And then if you have a wider chest, you can transist into a larger size. So that's why we work in blocks. With every block, you can decide which size you will choose. So yes, that was a lot of talking. All right, so this is just a tiny little bit of the beginning, but I can totally see how this can become a beautiful and staple piece. And she has many patterns in testing right now. I think she has 4 test knits going right now. She already has some patterns for sale, which also are very detailed. Right now, she really writes out row by row. She also uses colored stitch markers, so you can visually see in the pattern which marker she means. She said will say marker 4, but that marker is written in the color blue, so you know it's a blue marker. And yes, that makes it very very easy to follow, you know, without actually understanding what she writes, which marker it is. You can quickly see, all right, I have to knit to marker a blue marker, the first blue marker. So yeah, I think it works very well, and I think I can imagine it will work very well for many people, because all black letters can be very overwhelming. And yeah, so yes, I'm excited, and I love the process of not be able to go any further before you correctly finished part. I have the tendency, if I knit for myself, I want to rush to a certain point. Sometimes I make a mistake and I'll just skip over it and fudge it a little bit, which is okay, but this time it really needs me to focus and count and recount. So this is a good lesson for me. I already learned things like a different way of picking up the stitches. If you have to pick up 2 out of 3, she has a wonderful way. I never heard of it, how to do that, so you won't get those little gaps, those little yes, I mean, because you skip a row, you can see that, and she she has a wonderful way to go around that, and it looks really, really, really tidy. So yes, it is super exciting, and like I said, she has a lot of patterns in testing, and I get very excited because there are a lot of them that looks really, really appealing to me. Also with those fake cables and mohair, and uh, yes, very inspiring, very motivating. And yeah, I would love to knit more of her patterns, but we do it slow and we finish first what we started and see how this all works out and how it fits. And I can see myself knit more of the same sweater, but then maybe use my hand spun because I already know how it's about to fit. And yeah, you I'm not so very particular about some irregulars, so irregular, oh, some irregular spots or words. So yeah, I can understand completely. She wants something uniform right now, but I can see myself using my handspun for the same pattern and then make it my own. Wow, that was a lot of rambling. All right, there are 2 more things I want to talk about. This is the beginning of a new month. Actually, there are 3 things. Um, I want to talk about how much yarn went out this month. That's a lot. But there are a few UFOs which were very heavy, which managed to get finished in this month. So I finished a few pot holders. I finished a quilty scarf. I finished a handspun sweater, a twilight cowl, the sea glass cardigan, hooded scarf, winter rose mittens, the Winnie top, washcloth, granny striped shawl, and 1 sock tube. And the total was 2,982 grams, which is amazing because I did not buy anything. That's that's a great start for January, and I hope I can keep it up. I can only imagine I will not knit up this much every month because obviously the projects that are finished now will will be gone. I have a few more unfinished ones, but it is not a race. But this is a very nice start, and I hope I can keep it up. So then there is left the knitting bingo. I can put up the card here. So far, I finished two UFOs. I finished the face cloth. I finished one handspun and one sock tube. So I put a one in the square that is adjacent to whatever I was planning with it. So yes, next, the only thing I want to do right now is pick another sock tube, and I will get the drawer here. I have sorted them nicely right now, and I can see and can't see anything, and I hope the recording is okay because I turned my camera around. I think the quality will be a little bit better, and for me it's a little bit easier to focus on the lens and not on myself. So hopefully it works out. So I cannot see anything. I will pick blindly one of the sock tubes, and if it is a sock tube that has a pair, I will take the other one also. So I will go for this one, which is a yarn with a little bit of stellina in there. And obviously this will be for me. And it is a 100 gram sock tube. Let me put this back first. Yes, this is a very long sock tube, 100 grams. So I will wind off some yarn before I start, and I will use it for the cuffs probably, because this will be really long socks. And even though I like that, usually if you knit longer socks, you have to do a few increases for the cuffs. And I can already see this one is knitted pretty tightly. So yes, I either unravel apart and do contrasting cuffs, heels and toes. That might be an option. I might just do contrasting heels. And the unraveled yarn I will use in my blanket, of course. I love this one. This is definitely yarn I dyed up myself. And I'm looking forward to making these into socks. Yeah, I don't think you can see the stellina. The lighting is absolutely horrible. But yeah. All right, so I talked about everything I wanted to share for you this week. And I will be back next Monday if everything goes well. I hope I have some close-up footage for you here. I hope you got inspired in some way and you enjoyed this episode. I would really appreciate it if you could give me a like so this channel can be found by other people also. So enjoy your knitting, stay calm, and I will talk to you next week. Bye bye!